Yeah, thank you, everyone. Welcome to this talk, Understanding the Android for Cars third-party ecosystem. First of all, a little disclaimer. I'm not going to be showing any implementation details, but hopefully I can share with you some details that will help you understand and navigate this interesting sector, which is the automotive sector. That being said, we will start with a quick introduction to the Android for Car ecosystem. Then we will have an overview of the different apps that can be published. Next, we will look at the existing distribution channels for your kind of apps. And finally, we will do a quick review of the ecosystem, and I will try to share some personal observations along the way. Before starting, my name is Antonio Roa-Valverde. I'm an Android software engineer. I've been working on automotive projects for probably the last 5 years. And yeah, as you can see, I like exploring places by motorbike. And yeah, sometimes I even find Android status on the way. This is not AI generated. This is very real. It's in a place in France. So yeah, sometimes I even share my adventures on YouTube. So if you want to have a look, there they are. Yeah, so let's start with the introduction to the ecosystem. As you probably know by now, and probably you have interacted with the cars over there, using a car is completely different than using a mobile device. And yeah, this is what we are going to see next. Basically, we can drive a car and then interact with the head unit. And here, the kind of content you can interact with is basically customized so that you don't get distracted. So the main goal here is safety. Then you have another mode, which is the park mode. You can basically interact with applications like games and stuff like that. And it's more permissive. It's closer to what you can do on a mobile phone. The other day, I saw somebody watching football on the Audi, by the way. Yeah. So, and then we have a third case scenario where we are passengers in a vehicle, and then we can basically enjoy of content on the rear seat, for example. We are going to focus on the first two cases, so basically targeting the kind of apps you can put on the head unit. So basically, focusing on the head unit, we have two main factors in Android. We have Android Auto, which is the projected mode. All the apps are basically running on your mobile phone, but then they get displayed on the head unit. Then we have Android Automotive, which is the embedded version. It's basically what you see in the cars that are outside. And yeah, here there is no need for an external device because your apps are running directly in the car. OK, so now that we know a little bit more about Android and cars, so let's see what kind of apps we can build. Probably you have seen this from previous talks, but I would like to go through this a little bit more and from a different angle. So the kind of apps that are officially supported by Google are grouped as follow. We have different kind of apps like media, communication, navigation, point of interest, Internet of Things, like, for example, if you want to open your garage door, stuff like that. Weather, and then finally there are three new categories that just came: video, like for example YouTube, games, and browsers like Chrome or Vivaldi, for example. And the thing is that this list keeps evolving as Google introduces new features and use cases. So not all categories are available for all use cases, and I've tried to classify the different categories using three main groups. As you will see through the next slides, some categories are available for Android Auto, others are available for Android Automotive, others for both. And the same is true depending on the vehicle mode. So some categories are only available while you are in parking mode, and others you can use them while driving as well. When it comes to the UI, you have two choices, basically. So you can use what is called templated apps, and you can also build some parts of the apps or completely some apps by using the traditional way, using views or compose. So a little parenthesis here, templated apps. Templated apps are basically using some predefined screens and components. And the main goal here is to give control, to take control from the developer, and in order to make it easier for the reviewers to control that you cannot you cannot get the driver distracted. Here there are different kind of screen templates and components, and depending on your app category, you are allowed to use one or the others. This is very important while submitting your app and reviewing it. So those are some of the wireframes, and this is how it would look in reality in an Android Automotive emulator. This is the Waze app. It's a navigation app, and yeah, so those are the kind of templates. What is important here is that these templates are available in a library that is called the Cars App Library, or CAL for short. And this is the same library used to build Android Auto apps. Another thing is that in Android Automotive, templates are rendered within the template app host, which is pre-integrated by the operating system. This is an app that basically uses all those templates and render them on the screen for you. The thing is, without this template, templates won't work. And then coming back to the different app categories and starting with the form factor, here we can see some of the apps that are available, for example, only for Android Auto, while others are available for Android Automotive. See the case of browsers and video. So YouTube, if you want to use it, is not available at the moment in Android Auto. So depending on your need, you need to target one platform or the other. So when it comes to the vehicle mode, we can see that there are some categories that are only available for parking mode. Most of these are the most distracting categories. As I said, video, games, and browsers. Here we have an example of YouTube. And this is exactly, so on the screen below, this is exactly what happened. You are watching a video, and then you enter driving mode. The operating system will block your screen. You won't be able to see the video. There are some applications that good transition from video to audio, but I still didn't try them. An interesting thing is that around February this year, Google announced what is called the Karma project, that stands for Car-Ready Mobile Apps. And it's basically a program that allows mobile app developers to publish their apps in cars. At this moment, only video, games, and browsers are supported, and they are just targeting Android Automotive, but they claim that probably they will start doing the same for Android Auto. These apps work on the head unit because of the Android Automotive compatibility mode, which is basically a set of enhancements that take care of things like back navigation and other things like safety areas and so on. Remember that not all the cars are supporting the back navigation buttons like mobile phones. When it comes to UI UX, say that you don't like templates, there are a few categories where you can basically use compose or views and just ignore the templates. So yeah, those are basically listed there. You can do sometimes a little bit of partly use of compose when setting some flows, like for example, setting screens or signing flows, but that's all. So let's get into the car app distribution, now that we know the different categories that we can build. And here, we basically just have a few options. So we have Google Play, we have Appning, and Harman, so basically the two main providers that are outside. And yeah, let's start with Google Play and see how it goes. So if you are targeting Android Auto, Google Play is your only option. So third-party app stores don't support Android Auto. Same for GAS. If you basically target models that are using Google Automotive Services, you have to go on Google Play for now. Something interesting about Google Play, the car form factors aren't enabled by default, so you have to enable them in the advanced settings. And once you enable them, you can see them listed. It's basically the screen on the very right. And one interesting thing here is that depending on the form factor, they are listed independently or not. So this has a reasoning behind. For example, in the case of Android Auto, they are together with the mobile phone, basically because you don't release a different APK. So it's completely bundled with your mobile APK. In the case of Android Automotive, it can be a different, an independent APK or the same APK. So that's why it's in a different track. Something interesting about Google Play is that here you can see the different devices that are supported. At the moment, there are 19 different devices supported from different OEMs, and they look like this. So this is a little part of them. You can even click and get some information. You can see the install base of your app, the ratings, and the revenue that you are making through that, through the different head units in this case. And then even you can get further information like display sizes and the operating system version and so on. Another interesting thing about Google Play is that it allows you to see the full catalog of applications for Android Automotive. So at the moment, there are around 220 published apps. So I checked last week, and I counted them. I was scrapping the page, and yeah, there are 220. So this is the current state of the art. When it comes to non-gas, basically here, we cannot depend on Google Play services. And another thing is that they have a very interesting app review process, which looks like this. So I took this screenshot directly from the Appning website, so thank you for that. You can check it in this URL. Here, basically, the first phase is very similar to what Google Play does. But then at some point, there is like a second phase where the OEM is validating that everything is correct and deciding whether the app fits their brand or not. So basically, it is up to the OEM to decide when your app and if it will be published at all. So there are some issues here, some pros and cons. So if you want to target those OEMs, this is the only way you can go through. Yeah. Unfortunately, this information of the brands is not really published, so you need to navigate some marketing material and so on. So some conclusions about this. So the Android for cars is a very narrow niche. It's not like mobile at all. There are many edge cases, and the official Google documentation is not the best to determine what we can do or not. And this translates in a lot of issues while going through the review process. And that if you are lucky and you can decipher the messages that you get from the Google reviewers. The good news is that the ecosystem keeps evolving. More and more cars are embracing Android Automotive OS and GAS. And also more categories are being supported, and it seems like the process is getting easier along the time. Probably I didn't mention yet, but in previous talks, this was basically very well highlighted. There is a fragmentation problem here, which is consequence of the business decision gas versus non-gas. And yeah, this is unfortunately something that we developers need to deal with at the moment. This is an example of fragmentation. There is an issue with the CAL library. This is taken from the Appning website, by the way. Basically, the thing is that, as I said before, the CAL depends on the template app host, and Google stopped releasing this as open source. They didn't release it for, I don't know, maybe more than 2 or 3 years. And third-party app stores basically depend on this library, on this application, in order to build and to use all the latest APIs. So it could be that if you are targeting Google Play and you're publishing your app there, and then you want to move that application to a third-party app store, you will need to degrade some of the APIs that you are using. This is when using templates. Another interesting example of fragmentation is what Harman is doing. They extended this car Android library with their own templates and even components, which allowed them to do stuff like this, like playing games and rendering some videos. Again, this is basically for targeting the Harman App Store, but you cannot submit this to Google Play if you wanted to. And a big problem of all this is basically transparency. This is basically a little feedback from me to the app stores. It could be great if Google Play, for example, could do better sharing the details and being more explicit when rejecting the apps. I mentioned before that depending on the category, you are allowed to use some templates or not. So if you try to use, for example, a POI app for a charging app or something like that, and you try to render your own maps, you would think that this is allowed, but Google will reject it. And they won't tell you exactly why. So this was my experience while trying to publish something there. For third-party app stores, yeah, I would say that if the double gate review is fully necessary for their use case, because they are basically a white label for the OEMs, at least I would make the process a little bit more transparent and share a clear picture of the review with the developers, so that you know when the app is going to be published, if it is going to be published, in what models, and so on. And yeah, finally, I would say that it would be great to consolidate all the marketing information and show the real data about the brands and the available apps on third-party app stores. So here, going through some examples, I took some screenshots from the AppNing documentation. In some places, it is claimed that there are 23 brands. In other places, 30 brands, but only 9 are currently live. You have to go through the marketing material. It's kind of hard. They also say that there are 200 applications, but it would be good to know those applications. Just basically what Google Play is doing. Same applies for Harman, by the way. They say 5 global OEMs, but why aren't they listed there? This could be very beneficial for everyone. So you have to go through videos and YouTube and so on in order to find out. Same for the apps, 180 apps, but which ones? Do I have to rent a car in order to know which one? That's the problem. And yeah, so finally, should you go gas or non-gas? My suggestion here is, since you are Android developers and probably you are coming from mobile, most of you probably already have a mobile app on Google Play. So my suggestion is to start with Google Play, so gas vehicles, and from there start moving slowly to non-gas, because this will be, it will get you familiarized with the process, the review processes of the OEMs and so on, and it's a good start, at least to cope with the fragmentation issue. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think I went too fast, but yeah, that's everything I had for you today. And if you have any questions, I think maybe we even have some time left. Thank you.